In the following lesson, we extend our usage of the if command in Excel by nesting another if statement within an existing if command. In other words, creating a nested if command. We then apply this to an existing data. Let us see how we implement the nested if command in Excel. So the nested if command uses the same syntax as the if command. It starts with a is equal to if, open parenthesis, then the logical test that you wish to test. Then based on that test, if that test is true, what value do you want to put? Value if true, a comma, and then the third input is the value that you wish to put if that logical test is false. However, what makes it a nested if command is that now instead of putting in a value if the logical test is false, or for that matter if it is true, we would replace it with yet another if command. So in this case, for example, we'll replace the value if the logical test is false with a if command. So if command replaces the value if false. So now we have an if command, a logical test. Based on that logical test, we put in a value if that logical test is true. And if in case that logical test is false, rather than putting in a value, we execute yet another if command. So that is what makes it a nested if command. Let us illustrate this by way of an example. So if we open our Excel spreadsheet and open the data file store sales, this file contains sales data from a store in Canada that sells office equipment online. In an earlier lesson illustrating the use of if command, we had looked at one of the columns, the order priority, and recategorized that column using the if command. So in our data, order priority takes in 5 categories: low, medium, high, critical, not specified. So instead of categorizing them in these 5 categories, we had recategorized them into 2 categories. So whenever the order priority was critical, we had given it a 3-star priority, and in all other cases we had given it a single-star priority. Now let us extend that. So now instead of having just 2 categories, we'll recategorize them into 3 categories. So we'll give a 3-star priority star rating whenever the order priority is critical. Whenever the order priority is high, we'll give it 2 stars, and in all other cases, low, not specified, or medium priority, we'll give it a single-star rating. And we'll use a nested if structure to implement this. So let's insert a column, extend or increase the width of that column. Give it a title, priority star rating. Start implementing the nested if structure. So we begin with is equal to if, open parenthesis, if whatever is in the cell C2, which is the order priority column, if that is equal to quote unquote critical, so that's our logical test. If the order priority is critical, the value that we wish to put is a 3-star rating, and since star is a textual data, we enclose it within quotations, and so is critical a textual data, so that too is enclosed in quotations. Now if the cell C2 does not contain critical, that is, if the order priority is not critical, rather than putting in a single star as per our revised rule, we would execute yet another if command. And that is what the nested if structure is. So whenever the priority is not critical, we execute yet another if command. if now we test whether or not the priority is high. So we have already ruled out that the priority is critical, and that is the reason why in the first place the program execution would reach this particular point. And at reaching this point, since critical has been ruled out, we are now testing whether the order priority is high. So if, again, whatever is in cell 2, C2, if that is equal to quote unquote high, then put a 2-star rating, else, comma, put a single-star rating. And this completes the nested if part, or so to say, the small if part of the structure. So we gave one more parenthesis to complete the entire nested if command. So once again, this command begins with an if statement. If the order priority, if it is equal to critical, then put a 3-star rating. Else, if it is not equal to critical, then execute yet another if command and test whether the order priority instead is equal to high. And if it is high, mind you, we have already ruled out critical. And if indeed it is high, then put a 2-star rating. Otherwise, put a single-star rating. So a single-star rating would be put in all the cases where the order priority is neither critical nor high. And then we close the command by these matching parentheses. And when we press enter, this gives you a single-star rating. Why single? Because the order priority is neither critical nor high. Let me copy this command down. So my next order, since the order priority is high, and as per my rule, it should get 2 stars. The nested if structure indeed gives it 2 stars. Further copied down, again a single star. Further copied down, a 3 stars, because now the order priority is critical. And so the nested if structure seems to be working appropriately. I can copy and paste it all the way down. So that is how the nested if structure is implemented in Excel.